Okay, welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something pretty vital for feeling good. The link between the food you eat and, well, your body's defenses.
That's right. We're digging into a Healthline article, 15 foods that boost the immune system, citrus, bell peppers, and more.
Yeah, and our goal here is to really unpack it, go beyond just a list, and find the key takeaways, maybe even some surprising bits about how certain foods might help keep your immune system ticking along.
And we should say right up front, just like the article does, no food is a magic shield, right? It can't prevent or cure infections on its own.
Exactly. This is about understanding how some foods could potentially contribute to a strong immune system as part of your overall health. So, immunity and food. Where do you start? I mean, most people probably jump straight to vitamin C.
Absolutely. Citrus fruits, oranges, grapefruit, lemons, limes, they're the classic example the article kicks off with.
Makes sense? Vitamin C, it's linked to maybe helping build up white blood cells. Those are the infection fighters.
Yeah, that's the connection the article makes, potentially increasing their production. And it's interesting, our bodies don't make vitamin C or store it.
So you need it regularly, daily.
Yeah.
Right. About 75 milligrams for women, 90 for men, something like that.
That's the general guideline mentioned, and importantly, the source warns against overdoing it, especially with supplements. Keep it under 2,000 milligrams.
Good point. So if we need it daily, where's the best place to get it? This is where it got interesting for me.
You mean not just oranges?
Right, the red bell peppers. I found this fascinating. The article points out they have way more vitamin C.
Significantly more, yeah, like almost 3 times as much per gram compared to an orange. 128 milligram versus maybe 45 milligram in 100 grams.
That's huge. Totally changes the picture.
It really does. And it's not just the C. Those red peppers are also packed with beta-carotene.
Which the body turns into vitamin A. Good for eyes, skin.
Exactly. Good for eyes and skin, and also plays a role in immune function too. Shows how these nutrients often, work together.
Okay, so vitamin C, powerhouse bell peppers, surprisingly. What else? Where did the article go next?
Well, it moved into leafy greens and cruciferous veggies. Spinach gets a mention.
Spinach. Packed with vitamin C too, plus antioxidants, beta-carotene, usual good stuff.
Right. And there's a neat little tip about cooking it.
Oh yeah, minimal cooking is best, generally.
Generally, yes, to keep nutrients. But the article notes that light cooking can actually help you absorb the vitamin A better.
And it releases other nutrients from something called oxalic acid.
Exactly. So a quick steam or wilt might actually be beneficial. It's not always raw is best.
Interesting nuance. And broccoli was in there too.
Oh yeah, broccoli. Described as supercharged, I think. Vitamins A, C, and E, plus fiber, antioxidant.
They're a real all-rounder. And similar cooking advice, keep it minimal.
Pretty much. Steam it, microwave it, just don't boil it to death, essentially. Keep those good compounds in there.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly. What about those ingredients with strong flavors? Garlic, ginger, turmeric, they often come up in health discussions.
Definitely. Garlic has that long history, right? Ancient civilizations apparently used it to fight infections.
And the power comes from?
Sulfur compounds, mainly. Allicin is the famous one, released when you chop or crush it. The source also mentions potential links to slowing artery hardening and maybe helping with blood pressure.
And ginger. People often reach for that when they're sick.
Yeah, the article suggests it might help reduce inflammation, so that could potentially ease a sore throat or other inflammatory issues.
Any other benefits mentioned?
It touches on possibly helping with nausea, maybe chronic pain, and even potentially cholesterol. The heat comes from gingerol.
Gingerol. Related to capsaicin and chili peppers, apparently.
That's the connection, yeah. And then turmeric, the bright yellow spice.
Used in curries, known for anti-inflammatory properties, especially related to arthritis.
Right, and that color comes from curcumin. The article highlights some interesting research areas for curcumin, potentially helping with muscle damage after exercise, showing some antimicrobial effects in, well, mostly animal studies.
So that's a key point. The research is still early days.
Very much so, especially for direct immune boosting in humans. The article is careful to point that out. More research needed.
Okay, good to keep that context.
Yeah.
What about other fruits, beyond the citrus stars,
Papaya was one mentioned. Maybe not the first you'd think of.
but packed with vitamin C too?
Apparently, yeah. One small papaya can give you your whole day's recommended amount.
Wow, and it has that enzyme, papain.
Which has anti-inflammatory effects according to the source. Plus, you get potassium, magnesium, folate, other good things.
Nice package. Kiwi was another one.
Yep, kiwi fruit. Also loaded with vitamin C, but brings folate, potassium, vitamin K to the party too.
And these extras help how?
Well, the vitamin C is doing its white blood cell boosting thing, potentially, while the others are just helping your body function properly overall, which is obviously crucial for immunity.
Makes sense. The article gave a brief nod to bananas too, didn't it? Something about an animal study.
It did, yeah. Mentioned banana lectin possibly enhancing the immune system in animals, but again, stressed the need for human studies.
Right. Fruits, veggies, spices. What about nuts and seeds?
Almonds got a spotlight, mainly for vitamin E.
Ah, vitamin E. Doesn't get the same press as C for immunity, does it?
Not usually, but the article calls it out as key. It's a potent antioxidant.
And it's fat soluble. Right. So you need fat to absorb it.
Exactly. Which makes nuts like almonds ideal. They provide the vitamin E with the healthy fats needed to absorb it.
Andy, how much do we need?
About 15 milligrams a day for adults, and a half cup of almonds, maybe 45 nuts or so, gets you pretty close to that RDA, according to the article.
Okay. What about sunflower seeds?
Another nutrient powerhouse mentioned. Phosphorus, magnesium, vitamin B6, and again, vitamin E.
Reinforcing that vitamin E wall.
Yep. And they're also super high in selenium. Just an ounce gives you nearly half your daily need.
Selenium. Any specific link there?
The article mentions animal studies looking at its potential role against certain viruses like H1N1 flu. Again, early stages, but interesting.
Okay, moving towards protein. Poultry, chicken, turkey. How do they fit in?
High in vitamin B6. About 3 ounces of light meat gives you nearly a quarter of your daily B6.
And B6 is important for?
Lots of reactions in the body. Crucially, it's vital for forming new, healthy red blood cells. Part of the whole system keeping you healthy.
And they even mentioned chicken soup, the classic comfort food.
Yeah, a little nod to tradition, suggesting the broth might help lower inflammation, which could ease cold symptoms.
And broth from bones has gelatin, chondroitin, things good for gut health.
That's the idea mentioned, yeah. And gut health is increasingly linked to overall immunity, so that's relevant.
Okay, interesting. And the last category was shellfish. That seems a bit unexpected.
Yeah, oysters, crab, lobster, mussels, not the first things you think of, maybe.
So what's the connection?
Zinc. Certain types of shellfish are packed with zinc, and the article is clear. Zinc is crucial for your immune cells to function properly.
Okay, zinc is needed. But didn't the article have a really important warning here?
Yes, absolutely crucial point. While you need zinc, getting too much can actually backfire.
How so?
It can inhibit immune function. So sticking to the recommended amounts, 11 milligrams for men, 8 milligrams for women daily is key. Don't just load up on zinc supplements thinking more is better.
Wow, okay. That really highlights the need for balance, doesn't it? Yeah, that zinc example perfectly sums up why just looking at a list isn't enough. It feels like the main message here is broader.
It really is. It's not about zeroing in on one superfood. The article stresses eating a variety of these nutrient-rich foods consistently. It's about the pattern.
And it's not just food, right? The article brought in other lifestyle things.
Absolutely. Sleep, stress management, physical activity, aiming for about 150 minutes of moderate exercise a week was mentioned.
Plus avoiding smoking, limiting alcohol. The whole picture.
It's holistic, and crucially, the article repeats that food supports health, but it's not a replacement for medical treatment if you're actually sick. That's non-negotiable.
Right. Foundational support, not a cure.
Yeah.
Did it touch on any other nuances in the FAQs?
Yeah, it clarified things like the vitamin C link to white blood cells, still needing more human research to be fully understood.
And how broader diets like the Mediterranean diet seem beneficial for immune cells.
Exactly. And it circled back to antimicrobial properties and things like fermented foods and certain herbs and spices, just reinforcing those points.
So it really comes down to consistent healthy habits, with varied nutrition being a major part, rather than looking for a single food fix.
Precisely. Building overall resilience.
Well, we set out to explore this list of 15 foods, and I think we've ended up with a much richer picture. From, the red bell pepper surprise, that vital zinc warning.
Yeah, it gives you a lot more to chew on, doesn't it? And I think the big takeaway, for me at least, considering the nuance around things like curcumin research or the zinc issue, it's not just which foods might be helpful, but really understanding how they potentially work, the state of the science, and how they fit into that bigger picture of overall balance. The nuance is key.
That's a great point. It leaves you, the listener, with a really practical question, doesn't it? How do you take this info, knowing these foods have potential benefits, and actually apply it?
Right. How do you build a diet that includes this variety, that supports your health, but does it in a balanced way?
Without falling into the trap of thinking one food is the magic answer. and being mindful of things like, well, not getting too much zinc. Definitely something to think about next time you're planning your meals or at the grocery store.